Curveball, a beautiful pitch, a major league curveball, even better. We're gonna learn from a major league pitcher how to throw a curveball. Bill, how do you throw a curveball?
Buckles them! Oh, brother, what a pitch!
Shawn, will you teach us how to throw a curveball?
I will show you how to throw a curveball. Teaching you how to throw a curveball is a different story. We need a mound, we need some time, we need some athleticism, so we need to probably bring someone else in to help teach.
2-2 pitch on the way. Off-speed curveball drops in for strike 3.
Okay. Ooh, that was pretty good right there. Did you see that? So get up in there. Get your grill in there. All right, now don't grill up that much. A major league curveball from Shawn Estes. Is the most important thing how do you hold it? How you hold it? Is that the most important?
No, no, it's not the most important thing because you find a bunch of different grips with the curveball and a lot of them work. To me, it's about finding a grip that creates the most spin on the baseball. For me, the top of the horseshoe, so see right here, the top of the horseshoe was the spot I like to grip the ball. Right here, top of the horseshoe. So I had the ability to pull down with the middle finger at the same time pushing up with the thumb on the backside.
Wow.
Although that wasn't a conscious thought of mine, but when I actually slowed it down and I was able to feel myself throw a curveball, they both worked in sync with one another. That worked in sync with the thumb. So you get that type of rotation. For me, it was a 12-6 curveball, which was straight over the top. You know, a lot of curveballs you'll see, 11-5, maybe 10-4 even. Kind of call those more slurvy curveballs. But a true curveball, kind of like Derek Rodriguez throws, straight over the top. For example,
Barry
Zito's curveball. Like my curveball was straight over the top. But you can throw the same curveball with the same rotation. If you throw it the top of the horseshoe, you can throw it on the bottom of the horseshoe, just the same. And then there's also another one that you'll see is the knuckle curve. And I'm not sure how you throw the knuckle curve because I never tried to throw it, right? But most important, Ahmed, is not just the grip, but it's the wrist. And that's why I feel like it's hard to teach a curveball. It's hard to teach the break on a curveball. It's easier to teach a guy to get good spin on it. But I think that something that you just have that I can't explain, either how the wrist is positioned at the time you let go of the baseball.
Show that.
Well, my wrist was like this, right? You don't ever want to get too far in here or you lose arm speed, right? You don't want to get too high on it or you're going to end up going to be more of a slurp. You want to be the wrist, you want to be able to throw the ball and you want to think about throwing a fastball to this point, okay? You don't want to wrap too early or becomes too big and then it doesn't have as much bite. So you want to think about fastball, and as you come through, that's when the curveball grip starts to happen and that's when you want to be here and reach out front, boom, and you want to finish that pitch. So you talk about spin rate all the time. I don't know how you can improve spin rate. There's ways to do it now with strengthening maybe some fingers, strengthening forearm, I don't know, wrist. But I always felt like the reason why my curveball was good is because of my position in my wrist and maybe the flexibility of my wrist and how everything came from here to there. Here to there.
So would you think fastball until here? No, you would think.
I did.
You did?
I did. And when I didn't think fastball to there, I would typically know I'm throwing a curveball, especially when I wanted to throw a really good one, and I wanted it to be a nasty curveball and I'm trying to strike somebody out. Sometimes those are my worst curveballs because I'd start thinking curveball too early, and as I was back here, I'm already starting to wrap and try to snap off a nasty one, and because of that, you start to tighten up, your arm slows down, and for whatever reason, because arm speed slows down, the curveball isn't as sharp. And it ends up becoming more of a rolling curveball. Sometimes it ends up high, sometimes you end up spiking it in the ground. So my best curveballs was when I was thinking fastball to this point, and then that's when, as I came through the acceleration point of throwing a baseball, that's when my curveball, that's when I started the wrist break. So it was fastball, 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 curveball, and that's when I would get my best spin, the best bite on it, and I'd be able to consistently throw it where I wanted to when I had that thought process.
So the top things to keep in mind if you're to make a checklist when you're on the mound there and you're about to throw that pitch, what are the most important things you're thinking?
Obviously, you're going to set your grip.
You're
going to get your grip. That's the most important thing, is to get the right grip, because sometimes if you go into the glove and you have a fastball set, which is fine, you've got to be able to get that grip right away and feel comfortable that you have it. Because obviously, if you don't have a good grip when you're throwing the ball, it's not going to work as effectively. So the grip is the most important thing. And another big thing is to stay relaxed with that pitch. It's not a pitch you want to power through. It's a finesse pitch. So the mentality has to be to relax your body a little bit more. And as you come through your motion, the second thing you want to think about is, I'm going to throw a fastball, even though I know because of the grip your mind's going to throw a curveball. But you want to think fastball till you accelerate, and then from that position you want to reach out toward where you're throwing it. You don't want to cut it off. I felt like I wanted to reach into the glove. And I always would say too, don't throw a curveball to an area. Throw it to a spot. Now, if you can't throw it to a spot, because if you feel like if you pick a low spot, which you want to throw your curveball typically, sometimes guys will see the spot and try to throw it to that spot, and they'll end up spiking it. Then you pick a spot where you know your breaking ball. You pick a spot, an imaginary spot you want to throw it to, so it ends up at the spot you want. So an example, if you're trying to throw a ball in the dirt, curveball in the dirt with 2 strikes, the spot you probably want to aim for would be the catcher's mask if you have a big curveball. If you want to throw it for a strike, if me being a lefty, I want to imagine a spot over the right shoulder of the catcher that I want to throw it to, so it drops in there. But I was able to look at the glove and reach into the glove and throw a curveball that way. So those are the 3 things: grip, relaxed, think fastball, reach to the glove.
Got it. And is there one big, like, don't do this, like, if you're throwing a curveball, don't do this, don't throw it too young? I mean, I know there's like thoughts there.
I honestly wouldn't start throwing breaking balls until I wouldn't say there's an age. It's more about the kid, and as the body starts to change and you start to get stronger and some muscles, that's when your arm, I feel like that's when your elbow can kind of take a little bit more torque. So I would say it depends on the kid. I know 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds that haven't started to mature yet, I wouldn't recommend it. But some of them that have start to get stronger, that's when you can introduce a breaking ball into the repertoire.
How to throw a breaking ball? How long would it take for me to learn all that? From what you just said, how long would it take me?
You probably the rest of your life.
Okay.
Ooh, that was pretty good right there. Did you see that?
The grip's there, the mentality's there, the execution is not there.
I would just be like a quarterback. I would just do it like this. Get ready, and you go.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, different stuff works for different people.
That wouldn't work though.
Yeah, I mean, I coach little kids and I try to teach curveballs all the time. It's hard to really. It's different things work for different people.
Got it. Your best curveball ever. Do you remember it? Your best curveball, the one that you felt like, I nailed it.
No, I mean, I can't remember the best, but it was pretty fun striking out Mark McGwire in his prime with my curveball. Done that a couple times.
Hear that, Mark?
Yeah, that's right.
Crushed it. If Mark was here,
but he'd also say, I think I hit a couple home runs off it too.
Did you?
Yeah. Not on the curveball though, on the fastball.
Shawn, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Get out there, practice, good mentality, throw the curveball, and one day you could be Shawn Estes, who also hit a grand slam in a game.
That's true.
But we won't talk about that anymore. Yeah. He's already got a big enough head. Thanks, Shawn.